Goeiedag! Good day, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world. And it's really, really sad news. You know, the best of the bad bunch is the Democratic Alliance when it comes to controlling cities. But they are no better than the ANC when it comes to try and censor information. Now, we know that just a week or so ago, the interim leader of the DA, John Steenhuisen, put out a report suggesting that information I'd put out about the Mamre settlement of elderly whites in the Cape precinct was fake news. Now, I had a live stream with the advocate who represented those people. I'd invited John Steenhuisen to come and join us. He declined, and from what the advocate told us, it's clear that the fake news was not the video that I put out, it was a press release that Steenhuisen put out in response. Completely and utterly fake news. That is the DA. Now, the DA are digging a bigger hole for themselves, and I'll tell you why. They run the city of Cape Town. A proposed bylaw drafted by the City of Cape Town contains provisions preventing anyone, including civil society organizations and scientific researchers, from independently testing the water quality in city-run nature reserves without written authorization. Now, if that's not a cover-up, what is? You know, I have seen so many videos of where there's sewage, raw sewage, pouring into the sea around Cape Town. It is absolutely disgusting. This is your Democratic Alliance. One civic organization believes this is counter to the constitutional right to a healthy environment and also impedes a right to access to information, which is exactly the problem we have right now with COVID-19 and the ANC government basically putting a lid on the media, censoring any discussion on the subject, which is why here in Australia, you know what the ANC government can go and do? They can go and sit on my middle finger as far as I'm concerned, and I'm sorry about that being a bit graphic. The draft nature reserve bylaws aim to control activities in 23 nature reserves across the city, as well as control access, research and monitoring. Concerns have been raised with a section dealing with research and monitoring, as it places encumbrances on independent monitoring of water bodies and species populations in important ecological sites. In February, a concerted civil action was taken to obtain water quality data on extreme pollution of the Milnerton Lagoon, which forms part of the Deep River estuary. Section 21 of the draft bylaws states no person may carry out scientific or general research or undertake monitoring projects without written authority from the DA-run City of Cape Town. If it is granted, a research proposal must be submitted to the city and all findings must be submitted in a format determined by it. That's called censorship. Censorship. Anyone violating these conditions would be liable to a fine, and failure to comply could result in a person's vehicle being impounded. As it stands, the bylaw could be used to prevent the independent monitoring of water quality to ensure the results are in line with those obtained by the city or fudged by the city. The Milnerton Central Residents Association said it could be used to prevent civilian oversight of such populations and allow pillaging of natural resources as has occurred elsewhere. Even if permission for research was granted by the city, the requirements imposed were cumbersome and unreasonable on independent, interested environmental groups whose activities pose no risk. It added, the section was also contrary to the principles of inclusion, transparency, and the city's policy of encouraging cooperation with residents. Well, we know from what happened out in Mamre that the DA have absolutely no interest in supporting groups where they can't build their voting base. They are a clear political party playing the rules of so many other political parties. They're no different. Senior Professor Leslie Petrick of the University of Western Cape Chemistry Department said it seemed the city's plan was to let the fox guard the henhouse. Petrick, as well as retired Stellenbosch epidemiologist Dr. Joe Barnes and Associate Professor Leslie Green of the University of Cape Town, have previously been accused by the city of making a habit of detonating unsubstantiated bombshells in the media. Now, where have we heard that before? Remember, this is a DA-run city council. Where have we heard this claim of fake news that came around and bit them in the butt? This is how the DA are running the city of Cape Town. Absolutely disgusting. I'm going to actually put a link to this article below this video. And of course, my comments, etc., will not be part of that article, but you can see this is what is coming out in the news in South Africa. This followed a number of articles highlighting pollution on Cape Town coastline and in the Kalis River, which received discharge from the Zandvlei sewage works in Makassar. Petrick said, "It has been a battle to get the city to own up to the huge contamination of our beaches, rivers and estuaries." Oh my gosh, you should see the videos I've seen of this. This is under the DA's watch. Absolutely disgusting. She added, "Were it not for the organisation Undoing Tax Abuse assisting in Milnerton, the pollution of the deep river would have been totally downplayed and swept under the carpet." Petrick said, "Until recently, the city claimed the pollution in the deep river was due to an algal overgrowth." Now, that's fake news. That's fake news. The DA is full of fake news. We know they've tried it against me. Here we have more examples of it. This is clear politicking and fake news. She went on to say, "Citizens have a constitutional right to a safe environment and access to information that will materially influence their choices to avoid harm. The bylaw, in my view, is a sneaky way to gag our and other independent voices and punish us." Also at issue was a period given by the city for the public to comment on the bylaw. It posted the invitation to comment on its website on the 24th of February this year, with the period for comment closing 20 days later on the 16th of March. Cool. This is very devious. Think about it. But the city contends that its public participation took place from the 1st of February 2020 to the 16th of March 2020, which was within the stipulated 35-day period, saying various advertisements and a media release were issued. The MACO member for Spatial Planning and Environment, Marion Nievoet, denied claims the draft bylaws aim to stop, restrict or prevent research within its nature reserves. The requirement for researchers to obtain landowner permission to conduct research and monitoring has always been and is currently in effect. All requests received are evaluated by the Biodiversity Management Branch Ecological Management Committee. Why should they have to do that? People who live within the Cape Town precinct should be able to go and monitor the water in rivers and actually have it analysed without this monolithic DA city council coming around and saying, "We're going to impound your car because you actually did something that could help the community but could expose our complete incompetence." Ridiculous. Nievoet said, "This is to ensure that research is conducted responsibly and provides important input into the management objectives of the nature reserve and/or environment concerned." Water bodies in certain nature reserves are subject to periodic incidents of pollution. Zandvlei Nature Reserve was closed or partially closed at least 5 times in 2019 due to sewage spills, and water quality in the Deep River and Milnerton lagoons, which fall within the Table Bay Nature Reserve, has deteriorated to the point where the provincial authorities issued a warning to the city last month. It is uncontested that with less rainfall in summer, the Deep River becomes little more than a channel for discharge from the Potsdam wastewater treatment works, combined with flows from contaminated stormwater drains. The Cape Town Water and Sanitation Department, led by Santhia Limburg, was given 21 days from the 12th of February to provide the Provincial Department of Environmental Affairs and Development Planning with its short, medium and long-term plans to end the ongoing contamination of water bodies. The city subsequently released the anti-pollution plans for the Deep River catchment area on 16th of March. The province took action after civic bodies elevated complaints to the Western Cape government in December last year. Additionally, the city has consistently failed to provide publicly accessible results of the monthly water quality tests it conducts on its rivers, canals, and estuaries. While water quality results have been provided by Protected Area Advisory Committees, or PAACs, and residents' associations which have requested them, some PAAC members and chairpersons of both the Milnerton Central Residents Association and Fishhook Valley Residents and Ratepayers Association have said they have had to sign terms and conditions which include not distributing results without the city's permission. Talk about censorship. These are ratepayers. This is absolutely disgusting. Democratic Alliance, you should be hanging your heads in shame. You're no better than the ANC. Nevote said requests to do research or monitoring inside a nature reserve should be sent to the knowledge manager's email. She added proposals would then be considered by the Biodiversity Management Branch Ecological Management Committee. This is called a huge cover-up. You know what I'm learning? I used to have a lot of respect for the Democratic Alliance, but what I'm now learning is that they are no different to the African National Congress. They are using censorship at a local level, whereas the ANC are using censorship at a countrywide level. What's the difference? Nothing. You know what I like about the Freedom Front Plus? Is they call a spade a spade. They don't hide behind regulations that they create and absolutely devious ways which they represent. Alright guys, please remember to subscribe to be kept informed. Ring the bell for the updates. Please like this video, please share this video, and above all, please stay safe.